We may take our seats. Your Honor, Dr. Saulos Klaus Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me, Your Honor, before the salutations, before everything else, to invite Honourable Vera Kantukule, Deputy Minister of Labour, to come and open our celebration this evening with a word of prayer. Honourable, please.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for the wonderful gift of life. We thank you for this moment that we have, that we could celebrate 10 years of existence of our institution. As we start our program, we pray in Jesus' name that you shall be with us, protect us, and that everything that is going to happen in this place, Jehovah, shall bring glory to your name. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
I would like to interact with Professor Giovanni Madise, who is the country director, and Dr. Elia Zulu, who is the executive director of AFIDEP, so that we have a clear understanding on these issues. When we talk about research, talk about policy, these are not in our daily conversations. Let me invite Professor Giovanni Madise.
A big hand as she comes in. In this interaction, we'll also have Dr. Elia Zulu, executive director of AFIDEP. Dr. Zulu, please. And I will be your moderator in this interaction. First of all, I want to bring you into the conversation. How did AFIDEP, let's start from there, how did it start? What is the niche that you felt no one was addressing? And then when AFIDEP came onto the scene, it actually addressed that. What was that?
Thanks a lot, and all protocols observed. Thanks a lot, Your Honor, for coming to this occasion, everybody. I think your question about how AFIDEP started, maybe the most blunt way to say it is to say that it actually started in my garage at my house about 10 years ago when somebody gave a grant to cover my salary, basically to say, if you're interested in starting an organization, we'll cover your salary for 1 year and let's see what you can do with that. But just to take you back a little bit, I think there's a moment in life, I think, when each and every one of us have to step back and ask the question, is what I'm doing giving the most impact in helping humanity? Is what I'm doing, the organization where I am, is it giving me the platform that is going to allow me to give my best? I think that moment for me came in 2009 when I was working at one of the prime research organizations in Africa, African Cooperation and Health Research Center. And I was in a meeting room like this in Nairobi, chairing a session with policymakers. A colleague of mine from the Cooperation Council asked me to chair a dissemination seminar of their research to policymakers. And then I was looking in the room, seeing that about 70% of the people were also in another dissemination seminar that I myself on a program that I was leading had organized 3 months before that. And it kind of struck me to say, so what does this all mean? This month, people in the Ministry of Health are called to this seminar. Next month, another organization. In many cases, looking at the same issues or doing research on young people, but you find out that sometimes the results are different from what this organization is showing and another organization is showing. So you see that I sensed there, it kind of struck me to say, who is responsible for helping policymakers understand all these, narrow pieces, fragmented research that everybody is taking to them? And I saw that there was actually no organization on the continent that was specifically focused on helping to translate evidence, to look at all these publications that professors and master's, PhD students are publishing, to synthesize and tease out what are the policy lessons.
Interesting. Professor, before I take you into Africa, given the background that Dr. Zulu has given us here, personally, you had a lucrative career in the UK, and all of a sudden you said, I'm going to join Africa. What's in there for you? What was the interest?
Thank you for that question. I think every researcher, you come to a time where you feel that the research that you're doing, you're adding incrementally, not in leaps and bounds. And so you have to transition to a situation where you want now to push that research to the next level, where we can actually get policies and programs implemented as a result of that research. So I could have carried on for another, 10, 15 years doing what I was doing. I'm a social statistician, and it's not like I'm in a lab generating vaccines or anything like that. So with social statistics, you get to a point where you know the answers to some of the questions before you've started the research. So I think when you get to that point, it's probably time to move to the next level.
Yeah, so this is the next level.
Yes.
Right, now what areas does Africa focus on critically now? Let's just say, give us the details, and what formed your choice of these particular areas?
Okay. So first of all, at AFIDEP, we're interested in seeing Africa develop, and we want to see lives transformed, and we want to leave no one behind. So we went through a process of trying to revise our strategy for over a 2-year period, and in that period we looked at what are the bottlenecks for Africa? What is it that Africans were lagging behind? So in doing our research, we identified 5 main areas and 1 cross-cutting area. And the 5 main areas include health and well-being, transformative education and skills development, the environment and climate change, governance and accountability, and population dynamics and how that is linked to development. And the cross-cutting issue was gender equality. And when we started looking at this, we identified the fact that they are very closely aligned to the Sustainable Development Goals.
Wonderful. Now, coming back to you, Dr. Zulu, building on what you've shared earlier on, your record says that AFIDEP works across Africa, which is a very big continent if you agree with me. How do you fulfill this mandate? You have professors in Kenya and Malawi. How do you fulfill it, and what are the notable achievements, especially on our side here?
All right, thank you. Yeah, Africa is a big continent. We actually have a mandate to work across the whole continent, but with a focus on sub-Saharan Africa. Over the last 10 years, we've worked in 25 African countries, doing various pieces of research, advising governments on this and that, in the areas that Professor Madise talked about here. But the way we achieve our regional mandate, we are not an organization that is seeking to have an office in every country. What we do is that we actually work with partners in every country where we go, university scholars, research institutions in these countries and so on. But we also do comparative regional analysis on various issues, which allows us to look at the bigger picture, what is happening across the continent. But even more critically, we try, the lessons that we draw from working in countries like Malawi, Kenya, and these other 25 countries, we try to bring them to the broader spectrum of countries through the regional bodies. We work a lot with African Union, the SADC, East Africa communities, ECOWAS, and so on, because these platforms now allow us to engage more countries. Your other question about what we've achieved at regional level, I think one of the most notable things is that AFIDEP has been the leading African institution doing research, translating research on the demographic dividend. I don't know how many people hear what the demographic dividend really means. People say all sorts of things, but really it's about how Africa can take advantage, what investments the African countries need to make for us to maximize the value of our youthful population as a driving force for Africa's socio-economic transformation agenda. So, but to do that, of course, first birth rates have to go down, because then you change the structure of the population from one dominated by dependent children to one dominated by working age adults. So we worked with the African Union, supported the Office of the President actually here, working with UNFPA, to get the African Union to designate 2017's development theme, harnessing the demographic dividend through investments in youth. And I can tell you a key story. I mean, demographic dividend, the African Union, Africa is still very conservative on issues about population. A lot of countries don't want to promote family planning. So I can give you a quick example of President Yoweri Museveni, who is one of these who has gone, who is very open, saying we need more people. Look at our continent, it's so much bigger than Europe and so on. So it was about numbers. But when we did the demographic dividend study in Uganda, he actually came up and said, now this case is closed. It's about investing in people. It's about the quality of the population and not the numbers. He actually came in that meeting and said, we had this population pyramid in the meeting, the one that shows more children and the one that shows more working age adults. So he said, can you show me that graph again? He called it the pregnant population pyramid. He said that's what we need to have in Uganda for us to achieve our development goals.
Wonderful. We only have 3 minutes to wrap up this interaction. Let me get back to you, Professor. Tell the audience here, including the Right Honourable Saulos Klaus Chilima, what is AFIDEP doing in this country? That should be our interest.
Okay, thank you. I'm delighted actually to see some of our partners, and I start by recognizing the speaker, because we've been working with Parliament a lot for a number of years, and we have supported, for example, the creation of the budget office. We started off by giving putting staff in Parliament before even the physical infrastructure, the physical office was identified. We trained the staff in budget analysis, we trained the staff in how to do legislative research so that the bills would actually have evidence behind them. I can go on Parliament, but we've also worked a lot with health. A large number of our projects are to do with health. We're working with researchers to make sure that the research that's done in antimicrobial resistance, in sepsis, TB, malaria, even sexual and reproductive health and rights actually goes to the minister and to government so that the right policies are made. So for example, also last year we supported the government to actually make actionable commitments at the 25th anniversary of the International Conference on Population and Development. Each country in low and middle income countries was required to come up with commitments, and we could have just said to government, take the global commitments, but what we said is let's look at the evidence to see what is actually achievable, and then we make the commitments towards that instead of just committing to things that we're never going to actually achieve. So we're very proud to support government like that. And just most recently, we've started working with the Vice President's office in the Ministry of Economic Planning and Development, and also public sector reform, because we want to support performance monitoring and accountability of the flagship projects as well as some of the public sector reforms. So I can go on. There are a number of issues, as you already saw on the video. We've also worked with the Ministry of Gender. Thank you.
I have one minute and 30 seconds. I'll give you that 1 minute. Just take us through what are some of the challenges that you as an organization face when promoting issues. Evidence-based issues. You look at consistent use of evidence in the public sector. Where should we focus on in 1 minute?
I think just to point out, I think one of the biggest frustrations working with governments is realize that governments want to use evidence to make decisions, but sometimes the extent of the skills and the resources that are needed to put that into practice is not fully recognized. So we might come in, work with the ministry department, develop sometimes guidelines and so on, but some of them are not even put into practice fully because of lack of resources. So I think if government really needs to walk the walk in terms of institutionalizing a culture of evidence-informed decision-making, there's need for investment in a larger level of investment. But also, I think we need a bigger sort of a community of practice. On this, I know there are colleagues from universities here. I think that our universities need to do more in trying to actually meet their think tank role in supporting government and so on. And this doesn't happen just by accident. I think we can't be building capacity through workshops of 20 people there. If the evidence-informed decision-making curriculum is actually incorporated in university curricula. Recently, the Kenya School of Government just adopted our curriculum on evidence-informed decision-making, which means every civil servant who needs to be promoted will have to get this training. So for us, really, I think we need to make sure that the need to institutionalize evidence use is in all spheres of our learning, because that's where we produce then a critical mass of evidence-informed decision-making changes.
We can go on and on, but time is not on our side. Let me thank Professor Ivan Matisse for joining this interaction. I also want to thank you, Dr. Zulu, for joining. A big hand, ladies and gentlemen, for Professor and Dr. Zulu. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Your Honor, the Vice President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to summarize what we've talked about here, summarize what you saw in the video earlier on, there is a very special song that Nicholas and the team from AFIDEP have come up with. May I invite Nicholas and your team, please give us that particular song before we move on to the next bit of our program tonight. Nicholas, you ready with it? Thank you so much. Please, the floor is yours. Give us that particular song. We appreciate it. Thank you.
AFIDEP, masompenya wasita mioyo ya antu Afrika. Kuzela mukada ulo wafufuza zetu za makolo. Kulibekesa mapula nilisondodogeko. Ileza chitu kukoma iko Afrika. Imeneyi ndiyo chitu yatu. Imeneyi ndiyo chitu yatu. Our focus is strongly social and human capital development, inclusive economic growth, environment and climate change, governance and accountability, population dynamics and AFIDEP, masompenya wasita mioyo ya antu Afrika. Kuzela mukada ulo wafufuza zetu za makono. Kulibekesa mabula nilisondodogeko. Ileza chitu kukoma iko Afrika. Imeneyi ndiyo chitu yatu. Imeneyi ndiyo chitu yatu. Tunakusanya nyama endeleo endelevu. Tukuzingatia watu na kujumuisha afya na elimu. Uliwa uchumi na ujumuisha. Moja mabadiliko ya mazingira na utawala na uchumi. AFIDEP masompenya usinda myoyo ya antu wa muafrika kuzera mukadaulo wafufuza sijuma makono kulibikisa mapulani nisondondomeko indeza chitukuko maikwa muafrika imeneyi ndiyo chito yatu imeneyi ndiyo chito yatu. AFIDEP masompenya usinda myoyo ya antu wa muafrika kuzera mukadaulo wafufuza zinduma makondo kulimbikisa mapulani nisondondomeko indeza chitukuko maikwa muafrika imeneyi ndiyo chito yatu 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 imeneyi ndiyo chito yatu.
Another big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That's a beautiful song. I think we should meet in the studio next week. We need the whole album, isn't it? To document all that AFIDEP does. We need 10 songs or so. Your Honor, Dr. Saulos Klaus Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to invite to the stage Mr. Martin Dawson, Deputy Development Director, Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, to make his statement. Mr. Dawson, please. A big hand as he comes.
Thank you very much. Well, how do you follow that? That was fantastic singing, guys, especially the falsetto. Fantastic. Well done. The guest of honour, the Right Honourable Dr. Saulos Klaus Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi. Right Honourable Speaker of the Malawi Parliament, Honourable Catherine Gatani-Hara, MP. The Honourable Kambizi Kandodo Chiponda, MP, Minister of Health. Honourable Ministers and Deputy Ministers here present, Excellencies and Ambassadors, Professor Nyovani Madise, Country Director of AFIDEP, Executive Director for AFIDEP, Dr. Elia Zulu, and Professor Sostin Chiota, Board Member, AFIDEP. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Well, it is my great pleasure to be here this evening on behalf of the UK Government's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, that's the FCDO. I'm still getting used to that new acronym myself, so it's a pleasure to be here during this 10th anniversary celebration of AFIDEP. I'm pleased to congratulate AFIDEP as they commemorate 10 years of research and evidence work. This is a great achievement indeed. I hope the organisation will continue to strive for high quality evidence and research, which is vital if we are to address the challenges in this continuously dynamic and complex world that we live in. Use of evidence of what works encourages us to focus on challenges that are absolutely critical to effective policy making and how we can incorporate evidence into our decisions in a timely and efficient way. These challenges are particularly acute in international development, where working in fragile and complex environments makes decision making and prioritization even more difficult. One senior member of the FCDO recently said, and I quote, "The most value that FCDO can add to growing nations is advice and knowledge from what works in the administration of governments, to the management of economies, to the delivery of education or health care." That's a fantastic vision, and I think it does stand at the heart of what we at FCDO strive to do. On behalf of the UK Government, I'm proud that the FCDO has been associated with a number of key projects AFIDEP has done over the last 10 years. This has included such areas as supporting the positioning of sepsis as a national priority in Malawi, Uganda and Gabon, supporting policies on TB and post-TB lung diseases in several African countries, including Malawi, through to putting African countries back on track to achieve the SDGs. These are just to name but a few. It is my sincerest hope that AFIDEP will continue to benefit Malawi and beyond by building capacity in translation and use of evidence, developing evidence-based interventions, exchanging lessons, ideas, innovations, and high-impact practices. Ultimately, this evidence will help to reduce the disease burden through improved policies and decision-making in intervention programs. Your Excellencies, I've been told that consultations done in Malawi indicate there is a strong political will from the government to push for the utilisation of evidence in policy making, as evidenced through the establishment of the Research Unit, the Public Health Institute of Malawi, and the Malawi Knowledge Translation Platform within the Ministry of Health. This is encouraging and a great opportunity for organisations such as AFIDEP. We look forward to the implementation of AFIDEP's new Strategy 2024, which was launched this year. While we acknowledge that there is an abundance of high-quality evidence in some areas, such as health and agriculture, there are still significant gaps in the evidence base in other areas. Collectively, we all need to get better at evidence generation, transmission, and adoption for real effective policy making and delivery. A good lesson for us all. So, to close, congratulations on your 10th anniversary once again, and here's to many more successful years. So thank you for your attention. Zikomo Kwambiri. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin Dawson, who is the Deputy Development Director, Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO. Your Honor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the use of evidence in parliamentary work is one area that AFIDEP has helped Malawi enhance its capacity and did a lot in that area over the last 10 years. Why don't I invite to the stage Speaker of the Malawi National Assembly, Right Honourable Catherine Gotani-Hara MP, to make a statement. A big round of applause as the Speaker comes, please.
The Right Honourable Vice President, Dr. Saulos Klaus Chilima, Minister of Health, and all Cabinet Ministers and Deputy Ministers present here, Dr. Elia Zulu, Executive Director of AFIDEP, Dr. Nyovani Madise, Country Director of AFIDEP, Mr. Martin Dawson, Deputy Development Director of FCDO, and all members of the Diplomatic Corps present here, members of Parliament present here, Professor Sosten Jota, AFIDEP Board Member, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Parliament of Malawi, I wish to welcome you, Your Honor, the Right Honourable Dr. Saulos Klaus Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, to this important function which has been organized to commemorate 10 years of AFIDEP's operations in Malawi. I wish to particularly thank you, Your Honor, for sparing your time in your busy schedule to be with us at this commemoration of this very important event. Your Honor and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I stand here to bear testimony of what AFIDEP has achieved in this country, in particular by assisting the Parliament of Malawi in carrying out some of its critical constitutional functions. It is therefore befitting that before I give a summary of the activities which the Parliament of Malawi has benefited from AFIDEP, I should wholeheartedly and on behalf of the Parliament of Malawi thank AFIDEP for the tremendous and commendable work and assistance that it has offered to the Parliament of Malawi during the time that the organization has been operating in Malawi. Allow me now, Your Honor, to highlight some of the activities which have been implemented under the Parliament of Malawi Enhancement Project sponsored by AFIDEP. The project, which commenced in November 2017 and officially launched in February 2018, was mainly focusing on two outcomes, namely improving autonomy and functionality of the Parliament of Malawi and enhanced technical capacity and operational efficiency of Parliament of Malawi in fulfilling its constitutional functions. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen, since its inception, the project has done the following key activities. The project provided technical support during the review of parliamentary training program modules. Based on the review, new models have been developed and are currently being used in our training program for members of parliament. And just to say that we have already received feedback from the members of parliament saying that this was one of the best trainings that they've ever had. So we're actually getting very good feedback from the training. With assistance from the project, Parliament managed to organize specialized orientation programs for the Legal Affairs Committee, Public Accounts Committee, Budget Committee, and Government Assurance Committees. These are critical committees in the governance sector. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen, this project further supported the Parliament of Malawi in sending some members of Parliament to visit the parliaments of Uganda and Kenya to appreciate the levels of Parliament's autonomy in those countries. What they learned from these two countries, Your Honor, has greatly contributed to the autonomy drive which your government, under the leadership of His Excellency, the President, Dr. Lazarus Makathi Chakwera, is fully supportive. Your Honor, pursuant to the autonomy drive, the project has facilitated the drafting of autonomy bills, which the Parliamentary Service Commission submitted 2 of the 5 bills to the Minister of Justice and for further processing in readiness for presentation in the House. I should add here, Your Honor, that the process of coming up with these bills was highly inclusive and consultative. On that aspect, the project made it possible for the critical leadership in Parliament, such as my office, Leader of the House, Leader of Opposition, and whips to meet and agree on the way forward. It also made it possible for consultative meetings to be held with your Honour's office, your Right Honourable Honour's office, and we actually gave you a brief on the reforms that we're taking, and all this is thanks to AFIDEP project. Your Honour, during the past 5 years or so, the project assisted Parliament in introducing an innovation on committee reports, where now it is an established practice for each of the parliamentary committees is expected to produce a legacy report every 2 years. These reports assist incoming committee members to appreciate what their colleagues did and either continue or follow up on committee's recommendations. Your Honor, as the chairperson of the Parliamentary Service Commission, I'm also in charge of the parliamentary service, including the members of staff. AFIDEP has also assisted us in training and capacity building of members of staff in Parliament. We've also established a budget office and a legal services division and media division in Parliament, thanks to AFIDEP. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen, There are but key areas which Parliament of Malawi has over the 10 years benefited through this project. It should be a challenge to list each and every activity which has been implemented during this period. Suffice to say, Your Honor, that the other notable activities are production of paper for conferences on separation of powers, financing TV and radio to air civic education materials on origins and functions of Parliament, sponsoring MISA Media Awards, especially on parliamentary reporting, production of a public inquiry manual for use by committees, and critically assisted us in the 2021 to 2025 National Assembly Strategic Plan development. Looking ahead, Your Honor, it is my hope that the project will be renewed, since there is still a lot to be done in order to make sure that Parliament of Malawi is truly representative, responsive, and operates efficiently and effectively within the confines of the Constitution and laws of Malawi. Areas to look forward through this project, Your Honor, are the realization of the conference, the separation of powers, meeting with the Treasury to review the Public Finance Management Act in view of the autonomy drive of Parliament, finalizing the National Assembly Strategic Plan, review of the standing orders, revamping the Parliamentary Reporters Galleries Association. In conclusion, Your Honor, once again, let me thank you for gracing this occasion, as it demonstrates your desire to ensure that public institutions such as Malawi National Assembly are assisted in order to discharge their constitutional functions timely and efficiently. On our part as Parliament, I wish to assure all cooperating partners that we are willing to receive your assistance, and we will pledge to ensure that whatever assistance we get will be put to good use, so that Parliament is more relevant and has tangible impact on the lives of Malawians. I thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention.
A very strong working relationship right there between AFIDEP and the Malawi Parliament. Thank you so much, Right Honourable Catherine Gotani-Hara MP, Speaker of the National Assembly, for your statement. We want to move on to the next bit of our program this evening, Your Honor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and we have another presentation in a video form of the impact that AFIDEP has made, especially on the youth. Take a look.
Answer me this. What is Africa's biggest untapped natural resource? Is it minerals? Is it oil? Is it copper, silver, diamonds? No, it's more valuable than any of those. It's the raw material that's present in every one of our countries, in every one of our towns and cities. It's me. That's right, me. Times 500 million. 500 million of us ready to be educated. 500 million ready to work. 500 million ready to raise healthy families. 500 million ready to power change. The future of youth is the future of Africa, because the generation that will transform Africa has already been born.
We honor the Vice President. What is a celebration
without music and dance. I will ask the band to come to the stage and give us one song, and I will open the dance floor for 3 minutes so that at your pleasure, your honor, you may come and join a few members on the dance floor. It's a celebration of 10 years. So if we're not going to dance tonight, the night is not complete. Even in our culture, we celebrate differently, and one of the ways of celebrating is through music and dance. So the band will give us a song. When it hits the right notes, ladies and gentlemen, the dance floor will be open for 3 minutes. Over to you, the band.
Thank you.
Don't wanna end up like a cartoon graveyard. Bone digger, ducks in the moonlight. Far away, my way to go. Mr. Beer, get the spots away from here. I don't find this type of music anymore. See, if you be my bodyguard, I can be a long lost pair. See, I can call you baby, when you call me, you can call me out. A man walks down the street sick. Why am I short of attention? Got a short spot of attention. All my nights are summer. Where's my wife and the family? What if I die here? Who'll be my role model? Now that my role model is gone. We tap back down the alley with some love money with the Baptist girls. All alone, there were incidents and accidents. There were hits and allegations. See, if you be my bodyguard, I can be a long spare. See, I can call you baby, when you call me, you can call me. A man walks down the street is the strange world. Maybe it's the third world. Maybe it's his first time around. He doesn't speak the language. He wants no currency. He's deforming. He's surrounded by the sound. They gotta leave the marketplace. He's gotta leave an orphanages. Yeah. He looks around. He sees angels in altitude, spinning infinity, and he said, "Hey man, hallelujah! If you be my bodyguard, I can be a long spare." I can call you baby, when you call me, you can call me out, let me call me out. Yeah. If you be my bodyguard, I can be a long spare. Yeah. I can call you baby, when you call me, you can call me out. See, it walks down the street is the strange world. Maybe it's the third world, maybe it's his first time around. He doesn't speak the language, he wants no currency. He's deforming, he's surrounded by the sound. They gotta leave the marketplace, he's gotta leave the orphanages. Yeah, he looks around, he sees angels in altitude, spinning infinity, and he says, "Hey man, hallelujah! You be my bodyguard, I can be a long spare. See, I can call you baby, when you call me, you can call me out, let me call me. Na 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 na.
Thank you. Another big hand to the band, please. Wonderful. Dragging the hands of time backwards for us. You agree with me, Your Honor. It was good to see those dancing moves of the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. You actually saw them, isn't it? Yeah, you actually said this lady here was rocking the dance floor here. It was good, beautiful. That's what the celebration is all about, and thank you so much for those that joined in the celebration. Your Honor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, over the last 10 years, AFIDEP has supported the Ministry of Health to work towards institutionalizing evidence-informed decision-making on many fronts. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the podium Minister of Health, Honourable Kumbise Kandodo Shiponda MP, to make her statement tonight, and thereafter invite Your Honor to make your official address. Honourable Kumbise Kandodo Shiponda MP, your time now. Big hands.
Your Honor, the State Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, Dr. Saulos Klaus Chilima, the Right Honorable Speaker of the Malawi National Assembly, Right Honorable Catherine Godani-Hara, Honorable Dr. Patricia Kariati, and also present this evening, Honorable Vera Kantukule, Deputy Minister, Labour, Your Excellencies, ambassadors present this evening, principal secretaries present this evening, the Executive Director for AFIDEP, Dr. Elia Zulu, the Country Director, Professor Giovanni Madise, Honorable Matthew Zingware, Chairperson of the Health Committee of Parliament, and all honorable MPs present here. I've seen Honorable George Zulu, Honorable Rachel Mazombe Zulu, Honorable Chilenga, and many more. We are so grateful that you are part of the function this evening, a very important function where we are celebrating 10 years of AFIDEP. Your Honor, my humble duty this evening is literally to ask you to address this occasion as our guest of honor. But before I do that, may you allow me, Your Honor, that I say one or two words. And first and foremost is to congratulate AFIDEP for the 10th anniversary. It is no achievement, it's no mean achievement at all. It has taken a lot for you to reach this far, and we are so happy this evening. Me as a Minister of Health, and indeed the whole ministry, we are very happy to join the celebrations this evening. Your Honor, AFIDEP, what they believe in is evidence. AFIDEP mission of institutionalizing a culture of evidence use in the public sector. Your Honor, let me quote Hebrews 11, verse 1, which says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, and indeed the evidence of things not yet seen." Your Honor, we are celebrating this evening the mission of AFIDEP. I would like to thank you so much, Your Honor, for gracing this occasion this evening. We all know that you have been very busy. Today you're supposed to be here at 6, but at 6, we know that you were at Maula because of the loss, which as a country, all of us, we are facing the passing of our own bishop, and you were there, Your Honor. But apart from that, Your Honor, the whole of this week, from last week, you have been up and down this country, from the north, central region, eastern region, and indeed, you have gone all the way to the southern region. In fact, you do have been there till today, because there are still so many projects which you have to see. What I'm trying to say, Your Honor, is that we are so grateful because you live by examples. What you are doing is, because when you came in, you started the reforms, and you called all of us from different ministries, different departments. We came to your office. You said, okay, tell me what is it that is happening at the Ministry of Health. And I was there, I gave you, okay, Ministry of Health, we have got A, B, C, D. The same went for the gender. Each and every minister, each and every department, parastatal, all of us, we came to your office to present what we're doing in our ministries, in our departments. But for you, Your Honor, you needed the evidence. You needed the evidence. And that is why for the last 2 weeks, you have been on the road day and night, collecting the evidence, making sure that what we were telling you was there on the ground. The key word is evidence. Because I know most of us, especially as politicians, we talk a lot. But then when you go on the ground, the evidence is not there. So that is why I'm so happy today that we are celebrating AFIDEP. And AFIDEP, really, what they talk about is evidence. And you, Your Honor, what you have been doing is collecting evidence or making sure that whatever we tell you as your ministers and indeed as civil servants, it is there on the ground and it is what is happening. So thank you so much, Your Honor, for coming this evening to celebrate with AFIDEP. Let me start by thanking AFIDEP for inviting me to this celebration of the 10th anniversary. AFIDEP board members, leadership, staff, please accept my heartfelt congratulations on this milestone and indeed a great achievement. AFIDEP's mission of institutionalizing a culture of evidence use in the public sector is very central to our work as a Ministry of Health, given that our core business is delivering preventive, curative medical care and indeed saving lives of Malawians. My ministry is committed to strives to make sure that every decision we make is informed by evidence. As such, I would like to underscore the commitment of my ministry towards advancing the generation and the use of evidence at all levels of healthcare decision-making processes, which includes priority setting, resource allocation, and indeed realignment. Your Honor, you are very much aware of the challenges, especially financial challenges, which my ministry, the Ministry of Health, faces most of the times. So we need to make sure that the allocation which we make, and indeed sometimes we have to realign the resources, it is based on evidence. The other issue is determination of the cost-effective interventions. There are so many interventions, but as a ministry we have to check this intervention which we are advocating. Is it cost-effective? How do we know that it is cost-effective? Do we have evidence? Do we have data for that to back up whatever decision which we have to make? And also, Your Honor, monitoring our performance on safeguarding good health and lives. Your Honor, now we're still facing the COVID-19 pandemic. Unfortunately, the situation is now getting to look scary. I'm not trying to scare you, but we have to do whatever we have to do based on reality. And indeed, even for fighting COVID, trying to manage the COVID-19 pandemic, we have to use evidence which is there as Malawi and as Africa, indeed as a region, because the behavior of COVID, it is behaving differently. It was different in China, it is different in UK, it is different in the United States of America. So whatever evidence, whatever interventions we have to use as a country, as Malawi, we have to have evidence, the evidence gathered here in Malawi, data gathered here in Malawi. Because some of the interventions, they might work internationally, but when you bring them home, when you try to domesticate them, they will not work. So that is why the evidence, it is very, very important that whatever decisions we make or whatever policies indeed we make as a ministry and also as Malawi government, it has to be based on evidence. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, one key highlight about our partnership with AFIDEP is that it is not a one-off affair. AFIDEP and indeed my ministry, we have walked this journey together over the past decade that they have been in operation. And one of the groundbreaking projects that we have done with AFIDEP is a project entitled Strengthening Capacity to Use Evidence in Health Policy between 2013 and also 2017. AFIDEP also helped to conduct a year-long training of our officers on how to access, evaluate, interpret, and use evidence in decision-making processes. Through this project, the ministry developed and adopted guidelines for evidence use and policy making to respond to the challenge of weak capacity among decision makers. I'm pleased to note that AFIDEP has stepped up this work and partnership with the ministry, and we are currently working jointly to implement a project aimed at strengthening institutional systems and mechanisms to promote use of health research in decision making. Part of this work is seeking to optimize the effectiveness of technical working groups and ensuring that the work of the technical working groups is grounded on solid research. AFIDEP is also supporting the use of evidence to develop policies and interventions, like I said before. And the health issues which we are using this, Your Honor, it is in the microbial resistance, it is in TB and lung health, it is in non-communicable diseases, and also positioning sepsis as a priority and a cross-cutting health system issue. In many of these initiatives, AFIDEP is working with the Malawi Liverpool Wellcome Trust and indeed also our College of Medicine. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, once again, let me take this opportunity to congratulate AFIDEP on the 10th year anniversary, and I am hopeful that our partnership will continue to grow and that together will make evidence matter in preserving good health and save lives of Malawians. I wish you all a splendid evening. Let's continue keeping safe. Let's continue wearing masks. Let's continue watching our social distancing. Let's continue washing our hands and indeed sanitizing. COVID is real. We have to take responsibility. It is my responsibility. It is your responsibility to keep safe, also to keep Malawians safe. Malawi watose, ndudindo watose, kuonetsetsa kuti nkhondo ya COVID timenyere limodzi. Ambuya kudalitseni nonse. Your Honor, it is my humble duty now to call upon you, sir, to address us. I thank you so much.
The Right Honourable Speaker, Catherine Gotani-Hara MP, Honourable Kumbize Kandodo Chiponda MP, Minister of Health. I also recognize the presence of Honourable Dr. Kaliati, Minister of Gender, Honourable Deputy Minister of Labour, Honourable Vera Kantukule. I also noted in the audience the presence of the Honourable the Attorney General, Dr. Elia Zulu, Executive Director for AFIDEP, Professor Nyovani Madise, Country Director, AFIDEP Malawi, and all board members, and in particular Professor Chiwota, Mr. Martin Dawson, Deputy Development Director, FCDO, and all excellencies present here, Mr. Wes Kaira, Secretary to the Vice President, and all government officials that are present. Let me also recognize in a special way all members of Parliament that are present here, Honourable Ngwale, Honourable Chilenga, Honourable George Zulu, Honourable Rachel Zulu, and others. Members of the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am honored that I could join you this evening to be part of this great milestone in AFIDEP's history commemorating 10 years of existence. Accept a message of goodwill from His Excellency Dr. Lazarus McCarthy Chakwera, President of the Republic of Malawi. The President joins you in celebrating your unparalleled achievements in working with African governments, supporting them with capacity building over the years. AFIDEP has been crucial and a great partner helping African governments to strengthen individual and institutional capacity, as well as making African countries recognize the importance of population dynamics in development planning, among other pillars of AFIDEP's work across the African continent. Honourable Minister, Excellencies, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it therefore gives me immense pleasure to congratulate AFIDEP for growing into one of Africa's leading institutions seeking to help governments institutionalize a culture of evidence-informed policy formulation as well as implementation. As a matter of fact, AFIDEP was one of the top 4 African institutions nominated for the One Africa Award that recognizes Africa-driven and Africa-led advocacy efforts that have demonstrated success at the community, national, and regional levels. Actually, I think we should give them a big round of applause. From Dr. Zulu's responses on that interaction, from the humble beginnings in his own garage, what would have been a garage institution, it is an institution that is making strides on the continental bloc. So once again, congratulations. This is Malawi's own, and we're proud. The work that AFIDEP does is of direct benefit to the socio-economic transformation and wealth creation agenda that the Tonsi administration has embarked on. The credible evidence that governments need in order to set the right development priorities, guide effective allocation and use of resources, and monitor progress to ensure that the desired results are achieved at grassroots level actually do not come by accident. This is why the government of Malawi is committed to working with institutions like AFIDEP, who are not only helping to strengthen capacity for evidence use in government, but also translating practical evidence to efforts to address specific development challenges that various ministries are grappling with. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you will probably agree with me that the traditional top-down approaches to developing Malawi have had very limited success because they haven't been centered on mobilizing Malawians as agents in their own development. Such approaches have also failed mainly because the development discourse has primarily focused on tracking public expenditure instead of the outcomes that the resources are actually meant to achieve. In a bid to change and reconstruct this approach, the Ministry of Economic Planning and Development is currently facilitating a result-based performance monitoring and accountability system that will put data and evidence at the center of our socio-economic transformation efforts. This system will help track outcomes for the Public Sector Reforms Initiative and other flagship projects, and also allow us to rank with objective data how various ministries, departments, and agencies will be performing on the reform commitments that they have made. As a matter of fact, the contracts between His Excellency the President and all the line ministers. I am pleased to note that AFIDEP is working with us at the ministry in developing the results-based performance monitoring and accountability system to lend their support to this initiative. Additionally, I am delighted to learn of another valuable collaboration between AFIDEP and the National Planning Commission on the Malawi's priority projects. And just to underscore the point, you talked about demographic dividend and the youth, to confirm that the Malawi 2063 agenda is actually going to be youth-centric and youth-driven. This project seeks to provide the Malawi government and its development partners with a systematic process of prioritizing the most effective policy solutions that will maximize social and economic benefits of investments. As someone who loves evidence and data, I look forward to the outputs and the outcomes of this exciting cost-benefit analysis of various interventions to guide us on where we need to focus our resources to transform the lives of the people of this country. On another note, allow me to take this opportunity to challenge other organizations to partner with government and lend this kind of support that will help ensure that the country is on track to achieve our development commitments. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in all these efforts, it is important that we do not leave the academia and the private sector behind. As you might all be aware, the Malawi government is committed in using research to generate evidence to help us to develop a middle-income country. Actually, the target is 2030. As such, the government will continue to provide support to the academia, but at the same time, the government expects the academia to step up and take their think tank role in guiding policy formulation and implementation to the next level. The government is committed to listening and acting on the evidence-informed solutions that the research community is able to offer. Indeed, I would like to call on the academia to get off the fence, spending your energies on endless criticism of what is not working well, but do your part to table concrete and well-researched solutions to the challenges that are ailing this country. Furthermore, I urge all sectors, including the private sector, to work in collaboration with the government to ensure that evidence from the extensive research that is done in the country and beyond is used consistently in decision-making. Let me at this point acknowledge the great work that AFIDEP has done in supporting the Parliament of Malawi to enhance the administrative and legal autonomy of Parliament and strengthening the technical capacity of the parliamentary staff. As you have heard several times from His Excellency the President, the Tonse administration is committed to ensuring that Parliament attains the autonomy it requires in order to effectively promote democratic governance and help steer the socio-economic transformation that this country desperately needs. It is gratifying to note that AFIDEP, an organization that is doing such a great work in Malawi and across Africa, was started by a Malawian son, Dr. Elia Zulu, while living outside Malawi. In 2013, barely a few years after forming the institution in 2010, the founder got the endorsement of the Institute's board of directors to bring the organization home. Since then, and especially in the last 3 years, the organization and the Malawi office has grown beyond recognition after another Malawian daughter, who was then based in the United Kingdom, Professor Giovanni Madise, decided to return to Malawi to lead the institution in the country. AFIDEP is now employing many highly motivated and well-qualified Malawian and non-Malawian researchers, and its work has impacted over 25 African countries. AFIDEP's story should send a clear message to other Malawians in the diaspora. If you're serious about contributing to improving the country, the time to jump off the fence and show us what you can do is actually now. We are more than ready to welcome your ideas, startups, and investments. The government is committed to providing a conducive environment to enable Malawians in the diaspora to participate in Malawi's development, and we are looking to revitalize the implementation of the Malawi Diaspora Engagement Policy, which was launched in 2017. In conclusion, allow me to commend AFIDEP for championing mindset change through their Change Starts With Me Citizens campaign. I am told that the core values of the campaign include obeying the laws of the land and rejecting corruption, among other things. These core values are in direct line with what the Tonse administration is advocating in our mindset change effort. Please let me appeal to all of you who have been given the t-shirts to proudly wear them. First, as we celebrate their 10 years of existence, but as well as in our effort to jointly promote our mindset change effort. Finally, it is my hope that we shall see more organizations championing change, championing evidence-informed decision-making, and supporting the government in its efforts to identify and implement solutions to overcome Malawi's pervasive development bottlenecks. I urge AFIDEP, who have set the bar in this area quite high, not to relax, but rather step up their efforts to make evidence matter more in the business of defeating poverty and transforming lives. As we embark on your next 10 years, I would like you to mentor and groom more young researchers so that we grow the critical mass of experts championing institutionalization of a culture of evidence-informed decision-making in the government and beyond. As it is commonly said, the goal is not to be better than others, but to be better than the previous self. To AFIDEP Board of Directors, leadership, and staff, once again, congratulations on a job well done and best wishes for the future. I am very sure that these were very, very few remarks. And I would like to sincerely thank you for your attention. I wish you God's blessings. And earlier on, we saw the professorial dance. And sooner or later, we'll probably see a presidential and ministerial dance. But this only comes after food, and especially after we have sampled some of the beverages that are on the table. I wish you a great evening and God's blessings. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Before you proceed to take your seat, Your Honor, the last bit of your duty this evening is to cut the 10th anniversary cake. Can I invite Professor Sostin Chiota, Professor Nyovane Madise, and Dr. Elia Zulu to join the Vice President in cutting that particular cake. You can just stand by the side as the Vice President does the honors. 10th anniversary cake cutting. Very historic, 10 years of great service to Africa and Malawi. We can only celebrate. A big hand, ladies and gentlemen. That will be served as dessert, so we're going to keep it for the moment. Thank you. Before you resume your seat, Your Honor, excuse me just a minute. There is a very special gift that AFIDEP would want to present to you. It's a very special day today as they celebrate 10 years, and they thought it wise to actually give you a gift. So I would invite you back to the podium, and then Professor Nyovane Madise will do the honors. Special gift to the Vice President. A big hand as Professor Nyovane Madise hands over those gifts to the Vice President. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If we are serious about building the country, the time is now. Thank you so much, Your Honor. Let's resume our seats. At this juncture, allow me, Your Honor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to invite in front here Minister of Gender, Community Development and Social Welfare, Dr. Patricia Kaliati, and the Attorney General, Dr. Chikosa Lilongwe, to come in front. We want now to do the champagne popping, and straight after that, dinner will be served. And as the Vice President has said, maybe we have another dance after the food. Can I have Doctors Patricia Kaliati and Chikosa Lilongwe to come, and then we pop the champagne here. You will need the microphone to propose the toast. Right, you can use that microphone. All right, so first of all, we'll allow Dr. Patricia Kaliati and Dr. Chikosa Lilongwe to pop the champagne, after which they will propose now the toast to all of us. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic, Dr. Saulos Chilima, the Right Honourable Speaker of the Malawi Parliament, Dr. Zulu, Professor Madisi, Professor Kyocha, Dr. Nkandawire, the African Director of the Alliance for Africa Partnership, the Deputy Director of the FCDO, the Minister of Health, the Deputy Minister of Labor, my dear members of Parliament present here, government officials, and all my seniors present this evening. Indeed, we have a very strong partnership with AFIDEP. They've been there since 2010, supporting the Ministry of Gender, and 2015, supporting the Ministry of Gender in the end child marriages. I'm sure you'll be joining us also in supporting us in the harmonization of our legislations, our laws which you have. We ask them for their support looking into the challenges which we had, or we are still having since 2006 of the GBV, and we had the legislation. And from there, we looked into the root cause and the research which AFIDEP conducted. Hence, the members of Parliament supported us 2015 to pass the legislation. And I'm sure you are going to be with us as well. As we are pumping the champagne in the awareness campaign to end the child marriage, and I'm sure the campaign will also listen to us, that indeed we are teaming up to end the early marriages which we have in this country because of resistance to change. And I'm sure we are going to change from now as we launch also the 11th year, which we are going to work with you, Dr. Zulu. Your Excellency, allow us to do accordingly. Thanks so much, the Attorney General.
Let's go ahead and share the champagne. We also have bottles on your tables. Please, you can also pop. All right, we also have the champagne bottles on our tables. Please, let's do the honors. Your Honor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, dinner is ready and will be served, already started. And the band will be playing as we enjoy dinner tonight. Thank you.
Red, red wine goes to
Thank you. I'm sure all of us now have got our glasses, and I will invite Dr. Lilongwe to make a proposal.
My lady and my local, I'm sorry. Right Honourable Vice President of the Republic, Right Honourable the Speaker, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen, I take it that we all have our glasses charged. I'll ask all of you to stand as I propose a toast to 10 more years of AFIDEP. 10 more years. 10 more years. Thank you so much. You may resume your seats. And in my dreams, I've kissed your lips 1,000 times. I sometimes see you pass outside my door. Hello, is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes, I can see it in your smile. You're all I've ever wanted, and my arms are open wide, 'cause you know just what to say, and you know just what to do, and I want to tell you so much, I love you. Or someone loving you, tell me how you in your heart, or I haven't got it, but let me start by saying I love you.
much, Your Honor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I will invite you now, Your Honor, to take some few pictures with the Honourable Ministers here present, the Speaker of the National Assembly, and the leadership of AFIDEP. Just take some few pictures. And then after that, I will invite each one of us to stand for the national anthem. And then, Your Honor, you leave at your pleasure after that. Those of you helping us with photography, please do help us with this photo shoot. Band, get ready in a moment. The national anthem. Do signal me if you're done, photographers. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Whilst you're still there, Your Honor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this marks the end of our celebration tonight. I hope we had a great time and looking forward to seeing you after 10 years. Your Honor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may we all now stand for the Malawi national anthem. Thank you very much. Your Honor, you may leave at your pleasure. Someone has lost their car keys. If this is yours, please. Looks like a Mazda. If this is yours, please do see me. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Wish you a glorious weekend. God bless you. Thank you.
I see that